So I just helped a couple recently with their budgeting and their investing. They were middle-aged and so not young, as a lot of the couples I've been helping recently have been. These ones were starting to get toward the end of middle age and starting to transition into older age. The guy, I only talked to the husband, but he explained his wife had a 401k. They hadn't ever done anything with it. He didn't know anything about what to do with it, and his wife was terrified to touch it, and so they just had never selected any investments. And I felt so bad for them. And I explained to him it's basically like a checking account that you can't use. The money's just sitting there. It's not growing unless you pick an investment. So I tried to help him pick some really low risk, index fund, and a couple of ETFs. And, with the disclaimer, I'm not a financial advisor. Please don't legally come at me. All investing involves risk. But they had a solid, 15 plus years, and then they'd be retiring. And so I was like, in 15 years, you have a 99% chance, as long as you pick low risk investments, of having growth. And the growth, even if it's say 7%, that's still beating inflation. Maybe you only have, really, really simple investments. You pick 3 and you never invest in anything else. That's okay. As long as you have some sort of growth at all, it's better than nothing. The other thing is they had been saving up for a down payment on a house. They had never bought a house before. They'd been saving up, and he asked me a question that is basically why I'm recording this at this moment. He asked me, wouldn't it be better to buy the house and pay it off and then do investing? And I said, in certain situations that could be true, but in your situation, no. And the reason no, in my personal opinion, again, I'm not a financial advisor, his age and his wife's age, they already had taken so long to even save up that at their age and their closeness to retirement, they're not very likely to pay off the house until they're already retired. They're not helping themselves by waiting in that regard. The other thing that is with that is saving up for the house and wanting to have a home. Totally understandable. Absolutely support it. But wanting to pay it off before starting investing, not necessarily. They did have some debt for his student loan, and the debt rate was only like 5%. And I was like, dude, even if you invest and then later on you go to pay off that loan, the interest rate on the loan is 5%. The investment has an interest gain of 7 to 8% that I'm advising you to use right here. That's more than the cost of letting that student loan be for the moment and focusing on the house, because he had also been trying to pay off the student loan so that when they got the house, they'd be more likely to pay off the house as quickly as possible. And I was like, I am all for avoiding debt and things like that, but a house loan in specific does keep your credit score fine. You later on can do some sort of refinancing and things. There are options with a house loan that are different than, for instance, the student loan. And in reality, yes, you want to get rid of debt. You don't want to be in debt. But the ratios and the percentages for his debt in specific was so low that he would actually gain money by investing. That's not always true. There is a lot of debt that is not true of. If you have student loans and your interest rate is not less than 5%, take that with a grain of salt. I have met people whose student loans are pretty terrible for the interest on them. So, there's also credit card interest is usually always pretty high. Take that with a grain of salt. But in his particular case, his debt was pretty low and his interest rate on it was really low, like nice and low. So I said, sure, get the home. put your down payment down. But after that, don't wait to pay it off to start investing. And I said, honestly, I wouldn't even wait to buy it first to start investing, because you can, with a Roth IRA, which was what I advised him to make since he didn't have a 401k option, you can take some of the principal of what you had put into the Roth IRA out later to put on a down payment for your house, up to, I think it was for him 10K. Anyway, the point is, he could take some of that money back out, wouldn't have to pay a big fee on it because they were first-time home buyers. If you are a first-time home buyer, there are options for you that are different from someone buying like a home or maybe an upgrade. They started with a starter house, whatever. And so I explained that to him. You're a first-time home buyer. You can get the money back out of the Roth IRA that was the amount that you put into it, and you don't have to worry about taking out any of the gains, but you get to have those gains. And so I wouldn't even wait to buy the house before you start investing. They had a decent income. They only had student loans for debt. It was the logical thing to me. There is this fear, is the other thing I will say, that is about investing that just makes me so sad, because his wife has this 401k that she never picked a single investment in. How many years, I don't know, he didn't say, had there been no growth on any of the money that she had been price matching with her employer to put into that account. No growth. And it's just sad. Even if you're scared of picking your own investments, at least pick a program. Almost everything that you can invest with has programs for, picking investments for you or helping you to invest. And you can pick a really low risk one that's not super intimidating and just go with that. At least you'll have some sort of growth. Interest hurts so much when you're in debt, but interest can help so much when you're investing. Interest works for you. That's the whole point of investing. In 15 years, if you pick an index fund or a low risk stock, you have a 99% chance of having gained money and not lost money. If you just buy it and leave it alone for 15 years. If you can steadily keep investing into that account and steadily keep having your investments reinvest back into themselves, you can end up with a nice chunk of change when you go to retire. It's sad that they hadn't invested sooner. Their chunk of change is going to be significantly smaller because unfortunately they didn't invest when they were in their 20s or their 30s or even, their 40s. And that's a pity, but they still do have at least some time to gain something. Don't be so scared of investing, period, that you just don't. Look up, Google it. There are some low risk options. Just Google low risk investing index fund, low risk investing ETF. Just Google those things and some stuff will come up, and you can maybe not understand everything you're looking at. That's okay. As long as there's a chart and you can see that over the last, 10, 20 years, it's been like pretty steady and it's not got like these major drop down or major rise up, and it's just pretty much slowly going up. Good enough. The only other thing I would say is look at the fees for it. There's going to be some sort of fees involved for it, so check that out. Make sure it's less than 1%. You do not want anything that is a number point something. You want point a number. Even 0.0 a number is the best. 0.0 a number is a nice, good feeling when you have that low of fees. But other than that, if you've never started an account, look up some promotion for maybe Fidelity Investments or Charles Schwab or whatever, M1 Finance, There's lots of options. Some of them, the promotion, they'll give you money to put in the account as long as you leave it there. Others, the promotions, they give you little baby stocks that are worth very little, but hey, something. Just look up a promotion, sign up for it, you deposit some money in there, wait a couple days for that money to get in, you pick your little low risk investments, and then you wait a couple of days, you come back, you tell them to auto reinvest in themselves. You can set the whole thing up to be automatic. An automatic withdrawal from your paycheck, from your checking account, an automatic withdrawal from your checking account into the investment account, an automatic, hey, here's the investments I like, and then they automatically reinvest into themselves. And then you don't have to pay attention to it. You can just leave it alone, come back after you've retired, and you'll have way more money in there than you ever put in. The majority of the time, 99% of the time, as long as they're low risk, non-exciting investments. If you're in your early 20s and you want to go for some exciting investments and take some risk, by all means. But if you are in your 50s and stuff, go low risk. You're almost to retirement. You don't want to worry about losing some money, but you also don't want to limit yourself. You don't want to deny yourself the growth that could be there for your money. And if you want to get a home, absolutely get a home, but don't pay it off before you start investing, because it's going to take a long time to pay that home off. And the big thing about investing is the longer period of time you can leave your investments there to compound and grow, the more you get out of them. Yay! So in the length of time it takes you to pay off the house, you could have also been building money at the same time. It's okay, in my personal opinion, the one kind of debt that I'm semi-okay with you just holding on to for a while is, home ownership. But don't get a home until you absolutely can afford the home. Do not get a home until you can afford the home. I don't just mean buying it outright. I mean also the maintenance for the home, HOA fees for the home, taxes for the home. There's a lot of money that goes into having and maintaining a home. But it's also the biggest security and peace of mind that you can buy for yourself. If you can actually ever get to the point of affording a home, which I know a lot of people have just flat out written that off for themselves as an impossibility. But if you ever get to that point, say you save up your whole life and finally in your 50s, you can become a first-time home buyer, just like this couple. It took a long time. It took a lot of effort, but you finally got there. Congratulations, that's awesome. But don't hold off on investing just because you have that dream. Because investing will help you get to a more comfortable life while you live in that home and give you more ability to enjoy that home once you've retired, and that dream can be just that smidgen more happier. I am in full support of anyone who wants that kind of security and comfort and contentedness for their life. By all means. But don't think you got to pay the whole house off before you start investing. Because, again, investing, the longer you do it, the more time it has to let its interest and gains just compound themselves and grow and snowball into bigger and bigger growth.